5 months after northeastern Japan was devastated by the Great Tohoku earthquake, I returned to Miyagi, where I had lived and worked as a teacher for 2 years as part of the Japan Exchange and Teaching Program. I was one of 20 teachers from around the world selected by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to return to Tohoku and reconnect with the communities affected by the earthquake and witness firsthand the recovery efforts. My first stop was in Sendai, the administrative capital of Miyagi and also the biggest city in Tohoku. Life has for the most part returned to normal. Shops, restaurants, and stations are buzzing again. After Sendai, I went on to Ishinomaki, a coastal city that I had often visited. Ishinomaki was overrun by the tsunami. Many of the stores and shops were washed away, and many businesses still remain boarded up. Parts of the town are still without electricity. One of the highlights during the time I lived in Miyagi was visiting a little sushi restaurant in Ishinomaki. Over the course of 2 years, I became close with the owner, Master Sasaki, and enjoyed many wonderful meals and memorable nights in his restaurant. Following the earthquake, I was unable to get in touch with Sasaki and was apprehensive on returning to Ishinomaki. Thankfully, Sasaki was still in Ishinomaki. However, his sushi restaurant, a family-run business for 70 years, was destroyed by the tsunami. 2 months after the earthquake, he opened a sushi stall in a fish market in town. Since May, he has been based here. His plan is to move into a new location in September, just 6 months after the earthquake. Sasaki embodies the Japanese spirit of resilience, but as he told me, it's not just a solo effort. The town recovers together. I left Ishinomaki feeling hopeful and moved on to Iwadeyama, the small town in Miyagi that I had lived and worked in from 2005 to 2007. My first meeting in Iwadeyama was with the Tourism Association. They began by recounting their memories of March 11th and how they were affected. However, while that day will never be forgotten, for now the stress is on the future. The group, comprised of local people, a businessman, a bus driver, a soba shop owner, a car salesman, and a calligraphy teacher, among others, are working on promoting their town and encouraging people to visit this part of Miyagi. Iwadeyama is home to Japan's oldest school, known as the Yubikan. The 300-year-old school, where samurais were once educated, is a major tourist draw, bringing in over 300,000 tourists to the town every year. Sadly, the building collapsed during the earthquake. As the Tourism Association told me, rebuilding the Yubikan will be a top priority for the town and a key to its economic recovery. In Iwadeyama, I also visited 3 public schools that I had taught at. First, I went to the junior high school, which had considerable damage. As teachers explained to me, luckily, on the day of the earthquake, the students and teachers were gathered in a separate building for a graduation ceremony. Ito-sensei, an English teacher, showed me around the school to observe some of the damage from that day.
The earthquake changed our lives a lot, and changed our school, but we will be all right. Iwadeyama 中学校です。頑張ります。
After the junior high school, I visited some of the local elementary schools I taught in. Some of the schools were damaged on the day, but like the rest of Tohoku, the focus is on rebuilding. The vice principal showed me some of the damage from the earthquake, as he explained to me how they have been coping. All over Japan, messages of support, usually along the lines of Gambaro Tohoku, are at baseball games, on posters at train stations, on TV shows, really everywhere. The message that I took away from my visit was that the people of Tohoku, some of the most welcoming, hardworking, and friendly in Japan, want most of all to thank people from around the world for all the support they have received. The earthquake and tsunami put Tohoku on the map. However, the people of Tohoku want you to look beyond the images of the devastation. They are on the road to recovery, and they want people to see Tohoku for what it really is. A great place with beautiful scenery, incredible food, and great hospitality. Visiting is one of the best ways to show your continued support. Pencil in your next trip for Tohoku. I certainly